Hello all, and I am back. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the cards in the game, and I want to get you acclimated and familiar with all the different cards in the game. And I want to say something about the back of the cards. I worked with an amazing artist from Canada named David Shear, and we became very good friends. And these card backings are just amazing. Wait till you see these things. Dean Spencer actually did the ones for the special ability, but everything else you see is David Shear. So hello, David, if you are watching, and kudos to you and awesome work. Let's stick around here for a second. Let's get you familiar with the hierarchy of monsters in Dungeon Crusade. And I love monsters in games, and there is just a plethora of monsters in this game. Let's talk about the divisions of monsters first. There's minions, there's champions, and then there's guardians. Think of guardians like the boss-like creatures, in the game. Very, very tough. Minions can level up from level 1, level 2 to level 3, okay? And keep this in mind too. I'm going to give you little Crusader pro tips. Remember we were over here, we were looking at the quest tables over there, quest table 1, 2, and 3. Those are in direct correlation with these minions. So what I mean is, when you're working on quest table 1, that comes into focus there. When you're working on quest table 1, only level 1 minions, there we go. Level 1 minions are going to come out. You'll never see level 2 minions. And it's just to keep balance in the game, and it's easy to remember. When you're working on, after the first celebration day, when you come back to the dungeon, you're going to be on quest table 2. Level 2 minions are going to come out. When you go to the final second celebration day and go back to the dungeon to finish off, it's kind of like the big final battle, so to speak. Level 3 minions will be coming out. Okay? And since we're talking about minions, we put our overgrown Blackrock Vipers in the dungeon. When minions come out, when they spawn into the dungeon, okay, they're known as vagrant minions. And so, vagrant means just wandering aimlessly. Like the dungeon is their home. And DJ Sinclair, hi. We're going to be talking about the patrol route system. This is a very cool exclusive game mechanic I developed that makes this game truly like an open world dungeon crawl board game and gives the monsters unpredictable movement patterns. You'll never know where these monsters will go next. But when minions spawn into the dungeon, they're known as vagrant minions. And so there's a mechanic we're going to talk about called raid. And there's like a raid level, and it's like a difficulty. When a minion becomes a raiding minion, I think we looked at that. There's a raid token right there. There it was. But when they become a raiding minion, like I said, they're going to go out of the dungeon, and you've noticed there's like these red bloody arrows on the floor. That's how they're going to that's how they're going to escape. They're going to go out and raid the village. So there's vagrant minions and raiding minions. Easy, right? Okay, so those are minions. We're going to move up to champion monsters now. And so I put these to remind you. Remember we talked about monster tokens? I think I showed you how, on all the quests that monsters will show up in different chambers, and it has total replay value. All of the, like level 1 monster tokens, of course, are for champion monsters. These are always in chambers. So champion monsters, all of them, reside in the chambers, in the dungeon with the doors. Okay, so like when you see like this level 2, and it's all color-coded, like, level 1 is blue, level 2 is green, level 3 is red, level 4 is purple. So then you can see on a card, and there's a nice reveal of a Keeper of the Faith. The artwork of Freddie Lopez. Check that out. Come into focus. I created a very evil religious faction in the game known as the Faith. And there's all different members of the Faith. And I worked with Freddie Lopez and told him what I had an idea for the Keeper of the Faith. And real quick, see how his eyes, there's a bandage with, blood? His eyes were gouged out of his head and embedded into this Book of Souls thing here. And these skulls that float out, that's how the Keeper sees. And then there's a special ability I wrote that has that about the Book of Tormented Souls, about what you have to do. That you have to combat those, at the beginning of combat, you have to combat those ghostly skulls. But notice like how it says level 2 in green, it's color coded right on there. So there you go, you got to see another monster in the game. Awesome work, Freddy. So, like I had some extra tokens here. That's the reverse side. That's kind of like a spawning thing. Sometimes you're not going to know, like we discussed. You're not going to know when you go into a chamber what's going to be in there. Like that's a level 3. But again, when I wrote the quests, I had to be kind of appropriate on, for what would show up. But of course, when you write your own quests, you can put, if you want to have their level 1 heroes and level 3 monsters show up in the chamber, hey, more power to you. Go ahead. It's going to be tough. So that's all we'll touch. I don't want to get too far off base with that. So just know monster tokens are in direct correlation with champion monster cards. And then finally, the guardian monsters. These are like the big monsters, like when we were looking at Razorfang here. And these are very deadly. Level 1 guardians, there's Razorfang's card. I really didn't know this was here. All of your origin stories that I wrote for them are on level 1. So they don't have any special abilities yet. Of course, there's all their warfare values, and they're worth a lot. You can get a lot of gold and loot off when you kill a guardian. So there's their origin stories, but as they level up, I wrote special abilities. Like, so for Razorfang, they all have origin stories, but Razorfang at level 2, he's going to have a special ability that's pretty nasty. Then at level 3, I wasn't just going to take that one and just make it more powerful. I wrote another unique ability for Razorfang, and yet again at level 4, I created a new special ability for Razorfang. So you'll never see those carry over. And I did the same with all 8 Guardians. Did I tell you this game took a little while to make? But yeah, so you can, there's no, when you see the level 2 special ability, it'll never carry over. Each Guardian has a special ability as it goes up, and level 4 Guardians are, you better have 3 heroes on that Guardian, or, killing that Guardian. You'll die if you try to solo it. Okay, so there's the hierarchy of monsters. We can look at that. Here's all the hero cards. Yeah, let's just go this way. I think that'd be good. You play Dungeon Crusade with 6 heroes. However, what's nice is you can modify this game, and I highly encourage you guys to modify this game. The standard way, or the way that you're supposed to play, is with 6 heroes. You don't have to. You can play with 4 heroes. You can play with 3 heroes. If you're crazy enough, you can play with 1. But I'm going to discuss this easy modification that you can do, where instead of a D6, like it'll say randomly select a hero, and you roll a D6. Okay, so when you see that, you're just going to substitute it. Say you only want 4 heroes, you're going to use a D4. Say you want to use just 3 heroes, you're going to use a D3. But here, let me share this with you. These are initiative tokens here. And we're going to get into this in the next video, which I'm very excited to get to. In the upkeep phase, that's at the top of a turn, you're going to kind of take all these initiative tokens, and you're going to look over the dungeon, and you're going to come up with your new strategy, your plans, your tactics, for the forthcoming turn. So, you're going to take all of these tokens and say, well, okay, I'm going to collect them real quick so I can give you a quick demo. So let's put our tokens here. Okay, so, let's just say the dungeon's full of monsters, and we're working on a quest over here in the Western Watchtower. Okay, there's a level 1 quest there. So we're going to say, okay, well, tell you what, let's take, again, this is built from the ground up for solo play or co-op. So let's say that, I don't know, who's out there? Me and DJ were playing. Okay, well, let's tell you what. Let's take Sir Brennis. We'll have him activate first. But then we're going to have Zeke go with him, party those heroes together. Because remember, when you flip these over, you rally heroes to fight monsters. So we're going to send these two down here into the Western Watchtower to do that. And then you could say, well, you know, we have a few raiding minions that are heading to the siege tile. This is how they get out. So let's take Palum, give her initiative token 3. And how about Faith here, our cleric? These two are going to go rush to the siege and take care of those raiding monsters. Then you may say, well, you know what? We have the side quest we got to do, and it's, you know, over here in the guardhouse area. So let's send Maheliak. We'll give Maheliak initiative token 5. And then finally, Enwin. That would actually be a very good team to put together. So see what I mean? Hopefully, I think you just learned a lot just from that little thing right here. That's the really fun thing about this game, that there's 5 phases in a turn. Upkeep, encounter phase, guardian phase, hero phase, monster phase, back to the top of the turn, new turn. When I designed this, I always wanted to keep players engaged with something. I wanted them to look forward to the next phase. So with those phases I've just said, you're going to be doing something different in all of them. And it kind of provides that one more turn kind of thing. So we talked about that. However, before we, look, there's Albus. And again, he can level up. And actually, if you get a chance, you can read my origin story for Albus. I did write that one. Well, Backers did all the others. I think we had this in the update, series, but I revealed that when you get the 6 expansion heroes, that you're going to get initiative tokens 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You will be able to play Mega Dungeon Crusade, where we're going to be writing quests and scenarios where you take all 12 heroes out. Yes, you can play with 12 heroes. Like I was saying before, you're going to be using a D12 instead of a D6. Say you just want to play with 10 heroes, use a D10. Finally, say you only want to play with 8, use a D8. Hopefully you're seeing just from that how much you can just modify this game right out of the box and create the play style that you want to play. That's going to be pretty crazy. And we're going to remember to talk when we get up to the minion population track. Some people asked, well, why did you make it up to 18? And I revealed it then because of Mega Dungeon Crusade. You could have this dungeon spawn with 15 minions at a time. You have 12 heroes. Yes, that's going to be a long game, and I welcome that. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who will enjoy that. Okay, so we talked about that, starting weapons, talked about hero cards. Let's head over to, and we'll finish it up with this. We actually went over, but this will be fine. Actually, we'll finish it up with the blessing cards, and then we'll do one more video to finish it up. Remember I talked about Celebration Day, right? That you get, the first one and the second one. Over here is the temple. See, let me try to set this down here. Okay, see the temple? When your heroes come back to the village, the temple offers all kinds of services here. You can get healing from the temple. You can get afflictions removed for, 100 gold. And you can buy blessings. These are the most beautiful cards in the game. Again, the back of it is David Shear. But what it is it's a very fun mechanic that, and you're not allowed to look at these. Blessings are 200 gold. Okay, so you pay the temple 200 gold and you take a blessing. You put it by your hero. So let's say Maheliak here, he bought a blessing. You can only have one. You cannot reveal this. You don't turn this over. You're not allowed to look. So let's just say I'm going to go through here, okay? I'm just going to just grab one. We're going to say that Palum, she bought a blessing. Can't look at it. 200 gold. Finally, we're going to go over here. Enwin bought one. Okay? Enwin, Palum, and Maheliak have a blessing. When they go back to the dungeon after Celebration Day, they reveal their blessing. Let's start over here. And I really love this mechanic. And when we play tested it, this was always fun to see what you're going to get. So we look at Halum, flip over a card. She has the Angel of Vengeance. And the Angel of Vengeance will add damage to a successful warfare roll. So an angel will watch over Halum. And you can never trade these cards. I'm going to say that now. You can never give an angel to, Sir Brennus. If you have an angel, it goes with that card. Of course, you could always discard that when you go back to Celebration Day and get another one. But angels will give your heroes some really good buffs. And they're very, very good to have. Freddie Lopez, that's what I was saying, the most beautiful art. He painted all the angels in the game. Very awesome. So let's go over here to Halum. She had a blessing, and she got despair. And I wrote some very sad things for despair. A feeling of desolation consumes you. And it says simply, shuffle this card back into the blessing deck. So you know exactly what to do. So your blessing, it didn't work, and you lost 200 gold. Finally, we had Maheliak here. He bought a blessing. He's back in the dungeon. He reveals it. And he has the Angel of Swiftness. That was just like some freaking killer art, Freddie. And, I worked with him, and I told him what I was envisioning for these angels, real angelic, light armor, beautiful wings, and stained glass in the back. And he just knocked it out of the park. So we can see that this blessing gives him, what is that, +2? He can add +2 to his base movement. So this angel will make him move faster through the dungeon. There's all different kinds in here, and it's very balanced too. So I'll tell you what, I will show you, and there's other despair too. Here's the Angel of Healing. This angel will heal your hero. There's a few more, but I'll save that. Like there's another despair card. So, that's something to consider. Do you want to spend 200 gold on Celebration Day and get a blessing? Because you could get a great buff. And there's some other angels in there that will really buff your hero. But then again, you could always get despair. I know, I love that mechanic in the game. Okay, guys, so let's do this. Let's stop this because this is going 17 minutes. And yes, I broke my promise and went over that. But I think this was a very awesome one to go over with. I'll be back, and let's go finish up going over the cards. See you in a minute.